Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Renee, and today I'm going to be showing you my TBR for January. Now, it is a little bit ambitious. I have 10 books here that I'm going to share with you. I usually read 5 to 7 a month, I'd say is where I average, but it's a new year, new reading goals, so let's just get to it. So starting out is actually the book that I am currently reading, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Now, I know I'm so behind on reading this book. This book was all anybody talked about in 2020, and it took me this long to get it. I had heard that it is a more slow-paced read, which kind of put me off a little bit because when it comes to slow-paced reading, I get bored very quickly. But essentially, this book follows Addie, who makes a deal with the devil in order to live forever at the cost that everybody that she meets forgets her as soon as she's out of their sight. And I think that is definitely a really interesting premise. And I am about 30 pages into it, and so far I'm loving it. I know that's kind of early to say, but I think I'm really going to enjoy this book, and I really hope it lives up to the hype that it's had. Next for January is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I have heard mixed reviews on it. I've heard that it was amazing. I've heard that it was a little bit lackluster. Personally, I think I said in my last video, I am kind of getting over the whole Beauty and the Beast retelling, but this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Of course I'm reading it. There's just something about Beauty and the Beast retellings, no matter how tired I am of them, I'm gonna end up reading them at some point. And I don't really know much else other than that, but I do want to give this a fair shot and kind of get a feel for if I want to continue the series, because I know that there's more, so we'll see. We'll see. Next up, I have Saga Volume 3. This is a graphic novel. I've been getting more and more into graphic novels, though I haven't read that many. I do want to make a conscious effort to continue to read graphic novels, and Saga is a series I picked up a couple months ago, and I fell in love with it. It was kind of weird. I knew it was a sci-fi graphic novel, which I usually, when it comes to sci-fi, I'm kind of really picky on, but it hooked me from the first word bubble. I was like, and that was pretty much it. I was hooked from there. So I'm going to read Volume 3 this month. I'm debating if I want to pick up Volume 4 as well and read them both together, but I kind of want to savor the series. I'm definitely the type of person who likes to savor something. So I don't often binge read, because then I just get sad. Speaking of savoring, the next book is Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shannon McGuire. This is the second book in the Wayward Children series. Once again, I know I am behind on this series, and I picked up Every Heart a Doorway on a whim. I didn't really know much about it at all, but I picked it up and ended up reading it in one sitting. I absolutely loved it. I just love how... I don't really know the word. I don't really know. I love the vibe of it, and the whole concept is so interesting. If you don't know what the Wayward Children series is about, it essentially takes place in a world where there are doors that lead to other worlds, and it pretty much follows certain kids who end up going through the doors, coming back and getting lost, or at least that's the premise that was set in the first book. Kids who couldn't find their way back to the world that they had left, and they end up at this boarding school type place to kind of seek help for that. The kids who couldn't quite move on. And I don't know if this one is actually going to follow the same characters, but I'm kind of just going into this blind to the plot. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't even read the synopsis. Oh, Jack and Jill. Wow, we love that. I actually loved Jack and Jill's storyline in the first one. So if this one follows Jack and Jill, I think I'm gonna really like it. Next up for January is Among the Beasts and Briars by Ashley Poston. So this actually came in the November Owl Crate, and look how stunning. Like, this was everything. As soon as I picked this book up, because I believe the original version of this book is a white cover, and I love that they made it black. I love the sprayed edges. This is everything. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know too much about this one. I just got it in the Crate box, absolutely adored the cover, and then the front says, "The forest took everything from her, and now it's her only hope." And actually, I haven't heard anything about this book. I don't think I've seen anyone talk about it, whether they liked it or not, so this is definitely going to be an interesting kind of blind read, but I hope I like it, and I hope it's a pleasant surprise. Now, the next book I'm super excited for, and that is Tomi by Junji Ito, this mammoth of a manga. I had been looking for this book for a while, but for some reason it was sold out everywhere. Barnes & Noble, like Amazon, everywhere. Nowhere had this book. And then I would also even go into smaller shops, like comic graphic novel shops that also had manga, and they'd have Junji Ito, but they wouldn't have this one. So I started looking at private sellers, and everyone was selling this for like $60 to $100. And I was like, well, I'm not doing that. But Second and Charles to the rescue. They had a Junji Ito display, and they had one more of these, so I snatched it. And I'm just so excited to finally read it. I adore Junji Ito. I've read a few of his other books, and this is one that I can't believe I haven't read yet, because I feel like this is the one that everybody talks about. And I just know I'm gonna love it. There's literally no way I'm not gonna love it. And that's that. So I'm gonna be reading this ASAP. Then we have A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. This is a dark academia novel that takes place in a school where essentially if you fail, you die. If you get lost wandering the halls, you die. Literally anything, death, from what I know. And that's such an interesting concept to me. And I have heard so many good things about this book. Most of the people that I've seen who have read this book have absolutely loved it. Or at least given it a good review. So I'm intrigued to read this. I did start actually reading this last month, but got kind of sidetracked with the holidays and everything. So I am on chapter 3. So I'm on page 40. It is very interesting so far. I love the vibe and the mood of this book, and I just feel like I'm gonna end up really liking this book. I love the darker side of things when it comes to books, so this will definitely be one that I pick up and continue before the end of the month, for sure. Then we have one that I know I'm gonna have to save for a day when I am okay with crying, and that is because it is Orange Volume 2. Now, I read Volume 1 a couple months ago, and I laughed, I cried, I laughed some more, I cried a lot, I sobbed, and it just like pulled at my heartstrings. This story is everything. It is just so sweet and so tragic at the same time. Just thinking about it just like really gets me going. This is just such an amazing story. And then if you don't know what Orange is about, it is more of a sci-fi romance type manga, pretty much where one of our main characters gets a letter from herself in the future telling her things that are going to happen and giving her things that she would like her past self to fix. And I'm not going to say much more than that because I really don't want to spoil it, but I can't wait to read this. I'm so excited. This is the conclusion, so I feel like I'm going to cry more than the first one. I'm not sure, but I'm soft, so it's going to happen. Then we have My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell, and this is a book that actually has taken me a long time to commit to actually reading, but I feel like I'm ready. I feel like I can finally pick this up and give it a shot, because from what I understand, this book is very dark. It takes place with a teacher-student romance, and it kind of cycles between herself as she's older versus when she was younger in the situation. This book has had a lot of trigger warnings for pedophilia, assaults, stuff like that. And I've heard it's kind of graphic. I've heard it's kind of hard to stomach. And I just hope that I can get through it, because most people who's read it have liked it. It has amazing reviews if you can stomach it. And I just believe that it's going to end up being something that's important. I feel like the content in this book probably will shed light on darker issues that maybe aren't often talked about, or maybe strayed away from being talked about, but at the end of the day are still important. And that is why I've decided to finally read this, because I just want to give it a shot. I just want to see how it's executed and if I like it. So we'll see if I make it through this book. And then the last book on this January TBR is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is a book I cannot believe I have not read yet. This book sounds so far up my alley, but I haven't read it yet. And this book was everything and everywhere to everyone when it came out. And still to this day, I hear amazing reviews about this book. I hear people rereading it and loving it over and over again, and I still haven't even read it for the first time. So I'm very excited to finally give it a go and see how I like it. And just the format that this is written in is so fascinating. And I think it's just going to be a fun read. It's written in what I believe like interview style. But if you don't know what Daisy Jones and the Six is about, it is a story about a band in the 60s and why they broke up. And I'm just so excited. I love the grungy vibe this book gives off, and if I don't love this book, I will not only be surprised, but also incredibly disappointed, because this just sounds like a book that I want to love. Like, I just want to love this book. And I think I will. So, can't wait to read this. So that's my full TBR for January. Like I said in the beginning, it is a little bit ambitious for me, but I'm really in the mood, and I feel like I just don't really have anything planned for January. I mean, I haven't really had plans for a whole year, but I feel like I can get to them all. I feel like I'm in the mood to read all of these books like right now, which is strange because they're all so different. But I mean, I'm kind of an all over the place type of person, so I think that just is so fitting. And I do plan on doing a reading vlog this weekend where I pick a couple of these out to start reading, so hopefully I'll be able to talk to you about them soon. So yeah, I'm so excited. If you want, leave a comment below with the books you are reading this month or the book you're most excited to read this month, or if you have any book that I'm reading that you're excited for me to read and experience. I would love to hear that and kind of see from you. Also, don't forget, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button to help me get my channel kind of growing, because if you did watch my last video, this is a new channel for me and I'm super excited to continue on this journey. So if you do want to continue on this journey with me, go ahead and subscribe, and you can keep up with me also on my social medias, which I will link below. I have Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads. And yeah, I hope you like this video, and I will see you in the next one.